Now, around Sodus, deputies and police have blocked off various roads, hoping to catch the man or woman that killed Niles and Washburn.
The idea of a perfect crime has always fascinated people. It suggests that with careful planning and flawless execution, someone could commit a crime without ever being caught. This concept is popular in books, movies, and TV shows, presenting a challenge. Can a clever person outsmart the forces of justice? Despite intricate plans, fate often steps in, revealing hidden flaws and unforeseen events that lead to the crime being solved. The allure of the perfect crime lies in this delicate balance between smart plotting and the relentless pursuit of truth by investigators. In the quiet town of Sodus, New York, on October 22, 2018, the lives of Josh Niles and Amber Washburn were tragically cut short. Josh, 28, and Amber, 24, were a young couple with dreams for their future. On that day, their hopes were shattered by a brutal double murder. The investigation into their deaths revealed a complex story involving past relationships, custody battles, and violent plans. This tragic case led to the arrest and conviction of those responsible, showing how even well-hidden secrets can be uncovered through determined investigative work. Josh Niles was born and raised in Newark, Wayne County, New York. Growing up in a large family, he was one of 5 children. This tight-knit environment fostered a strong sense of community and family values in Josh. His parents instilled in him the importance of hard work and perseverance, which he carried into adulthood. Josh attended the local high school, where he was known for his friendly demeanor and willingness to help others. After graduating, he aspired to build a stable life for himself and his future family. His dream was to start a small business, specifically in lawn care, which he believed would provide a steady income and allow him to spend more time with his loved ones. Josh's first marriage resulted in 2 children, Gabby and Bentley. Despite the eventual breakdown of this relationship, he remained a devoted father, always striving to provide the best for his kids. His commitment to family extended beyond his children as he maintained close ties with his siblings and parents. In 2018, at the age of 28, Josh had a clear vision for his future. He was determined to create a safe and loving home for his children and partner, Amber Washburn, in the peaceful town of Sodus, New York. Amber Washburn was born on April 5, 1994, in a small town in upstate New York. From a young age, she was known for her kind heart and strong sense of responsibility. Amber grew up in a loving family and was very close to her parents and siblings. She was active in school, participating in various extracurricular activities, and was always eager to lend a helping hand to those in need. Amber met Josh Niles when she was in her early 20s. They quickly formed a deep bond, sharing similar values and dreams for the future. Amber admired Josh's dedication to his children and his ambition to build a stable life. The couple moved to Sodus, New York, in search of a quiet place to raise their family. Amber embraced her role as a mother to Josh's 2 children from his previous marriage, Gabby and Bentley. She treated them with love and care, ensuring they felt secure and cherished. In 2014, Amber and Josh welcomed their own child, Joshua Jr., into the world. Joshua Jr. was diagnosed with autism, and Amber devoted herself to providing the best care and support for him. Together, Amber and Josh worked towards creating a loving home. Amber supported Josh's dream of starting a lawn care business and was actively looking for work to contribute to their family's well-being. Their shared vision was to build a happy and secure life for their children in the peaceful town of Sodus. Josh Niles met Charlene Childers when he was 18, and she was 16. They quickly formed a relationship and eventually moved in together. Their early years together were marked by both passion and conflict. Josh and Charlene's relationship was often stormy, with frequent arguments and disagreements. Despite these challenges, they decided to start a family, and Charlene gave birth to their first child, Gabby, in July 2009. Their second child, Bentley, was born 5 years later. However, the arrival of their children did not smooth over the underlying issues in their relationship. The couple continued to struggle with their differences, leading to a volatile home environment. Josh's stubborn nature and Charlene's tendency to provoke fights created a difficult atmosphere for the young family. In 2013, Charlene decided to leave New York and move to Texas, taking their children with her. This move marked the end of their relationship. Despite their separation, Josh remained committed to his children and fought hard to maintain a presence in their lives. The custody battle that ensued would later play a significant role in the tragic events that unfolded in 2018. In 2013, Charlene Childers left New York and moved to Texas with her 2 children, Gabby and Bentley. This move marked a significant turning point in her life. Soon after settling in Texas, Charlene married James Childers. However, this marriage was short-lived and ended in divorce. Charlene then met Timothy Dean, a former police chief in Sunray, Texas, known for his aggressive behavior and violent past. Timothy Dean had a reputation for being controlling and abusive. He had lost his job as a police chief due to misconduct and struggled to find stable employment afterward. Despite his troubled past, Charlene married Dean, believing he could provide the stability she sought for her family. Unfortunately, his abusive behavior extended to her children, causing further turmoil in their lives. Dean's history of violence became evident when he physically abused Bentley. This incident was captured on video and shared on social media, leading to an investigation. As a result, Josh Niles gained custody of Gabby and Bentley, bringing them back to New York. This custody loss fueled Charlene's anger and desperation, setting the stage for the tragic events that would unfold in October 2018.
To the news that 2 people have been charged in the shooting deaths of a couple last month.
On October 22, 2018, at around 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Josh Niles stepped out of his home in Sodus, New York, intending to run some errands. As he approached his car, he noticed a man dressed in black clothes and wearing a green hat. The man's face was partially obscured, adding to the sense of unease Josh felt. Despite this, Josh engaged in a brief conversation with the man, unaware of the imminent danger. At 2:05 p.m., the conversation abruptly ended when the man pulled out a gun and shot Josh multiple times. Josh fell to the ground, mortally wounded. The shooter quickly fled the scene on foot, disappearing from view. Neighbors who witnessed the incident immediately called 911, reporting the shooting and the presence of a suspicious individual. Meanwhile, at around 2:07 p.m., Amber Washburn was returning home from her errands. As she pulled into the driveway, she saw Josh lying on the ground. Panicked, she attempted to back her car away, but the shooter approached her vehicle. Without hesitation, he fired a shot through the driver's side window, hitting Amber in the head. Her car rolled backward until it stopped, coming to a rest with their young son, Joshua Jr., in the back seat. The entire incident unfolded in just a few minutes, leaving Josh and Amber fatally wounded. The sound of gunfire and the sight of the tragic scene left the neighborhood in shock. The mysterious man in black had executed a brutal and calculated attack, leaving behind a scene of devastation. The immediate impact on Amber Washburn was fatal. The shot fired through the window struck her in the head, causing her to lose control of the vehicle. Amber's car, with Joshua Jr. in the back seat, rolled backward and came to a stop. Joshua Jr., just 4 years old, was unharmed physically but deeply traumatized by the sudden violence. The young boy, diagnosed with autism, could not comprehend the horrific events unfolding around him. The presence of Joshua Jr. in the back seat added a layer of heartbreak to the already devastating situation. The boy was taken into protective custody, and arrangements were made for his care. The loss of both parents in such a violent manner left a lasting impact on the community, with everyone struggling to understand how such a brutal act could occur in their quiet town. When the police arrived at the scene on Carlton Street at around 2:15 p.m., they were met with a gruesome sight. Josh Niles lay motionless in the driveway, multiple gunshot wounds visible on his body. His car door was open, indicating he had been preparing to leave when the attack occurred. Just a few feet away, Amber Washburn's car had rolled to a stop after reversing down the driveway. The driver's side window was shattered, and Amber was slumped over the steering wheel, a fatal gunshot wound to her head. Shell casings were scattered across the driveway, marking the locations where the shots had been fired. The police counted a total of 13 shell casings, indicating the intensity of the attack. The blood on the pavement and the broken glass from Amber's car window added to the horrific scene. Yellow police tape was quickly put up to secure the area and keep onlookers at a distance. In the back seat of Amber's car, officers found 4-year-old Joshua Jr., visibly shaken but physically unharmed. The presence of the young boy added a heartbreaking layer to the already tragic scene. First responders focused on securing the area and preserving any potential evidence that could lead them to the perpetrator. The police response was swift and coordinated. Within minutes of the first 911 calls at 2:05 p.m., officers were on the scene, securing the area and gathering initial witness statements. They quickly identified the immediate needs, providing care for Joshua Jr., contacting the families of the victims, and initiating a thorough investigation. Detectives began canvassing the neighborhood, looking for anyone who might have seen or heard anything suspicious. They also started collecting physical evidence, such as shell casings and any potential DNA traces, to piece together the events that led to the brutal attack. As the investigation began on October 22, 2018, the police quickly turned their attention to potential suspects. Given the nature of the attack, it seemed personal rather than a random act of violence. Josh Niles' past and relationships were scrutinized, leading detectives to consider individuals who had a motive for such a brutal crime. Charlene Childers, Josh's ex-wife, immediately came under suspicion. The tumultuous history between Josh and Charlene, along with their ongoing custody battle, provided a clear motive. Additionally, Charlene's current husband, Timothy Dean, was also considered a suspect. Dean had a history of violence and a reputation for being controlling and abusive. This background made him a person of interest in the investigation. Detectives began looking into Charlene and Dean's recent activities, searching for any signs that they might have been involved. They also reached out to people close to Josh and Amber to gather more information about the couple's relationships and any potential conflicts. The focus on Charlene and Dean intensified as investigators dug deeper into the couple's past and their connection to Josh and Amber. The custody battle between Josh Niles and Charlene Childers was a significant part of their history and provided a possible motive for the crime. After their separation in 2013, Charlene moved to Texas, taking their 2 children, Gabby and Bentley, with her. The move led to a lengthy and contentious custody battle, with both parents fighting for full custody. In 2018, the situation escalated when Timothy Dean, Charlene's new husband, was accused of physically abusing Bentley. This abuse was captured on video and shared on social media, prompting an investigation. The evidence of abuse played a crucial role in the custody decision, and Josh was granted full custody of Gabby and Bentley. The children were returned to New York to live with Josh and Amber, a decision that deeply angered Charlene. The loss of custody intensified Charlene's resentment and desperation. She and Dean were determined to regain control of the children, leading to heightened tensions and conflicts with Josh. This custody battle and the resulting anger and frustration were key factors that investigators considered as they looked into Charlene and Dean's involvement in the murders of Josh and Amber. As the investigation into the murders of Josh Niles and Amber Washburn progressed, Timothy Dean's behavior came under intense scrutiny. Detectives discovered that Dean had been acting suspiciously in the days leading up to the crime. His movements and actions raised several red flags for the investigators. On October 20, 2018, just 2 days before the murders, Dean traveled from Texas to Kansas. This unexpected trip puzzled the detectives. They learned that during his stay in Kansas, Dean rented a car under an alias, paying in cash to avoid leaving a trail. This act of using an alias and paying in cash indicated a deliberate attempt to cover his tracks. Further investigation revealed that Dean had been involved in a minor car accident in Kansas. When police responded to the accident, they found firearms and ammunition in the trunk of the rented car. Although Dean had a permit for the weapons, the presence of these items, combined with his evasive behavior, deepened the investigators' suspicions. As investigators delved deeper into the case, Charlene Childers' involvement in the murders of Josh Niles and Amber Washburn became increasingly apparent. Motivated by the loss of custody of her children, Charlene harbored deep resentment and anger toward Josh. The evidence pointed to a carefully orchestrated plan to regain control over her children, with Charlene playing a central role in its execution. Detectives uncovered communications between Charlene and Timothy Dean that revealed her active participation in planning the murders. Phone records and text messages showed that Charlene had discussed the details of the attack with Dean, providing him with information about Josh and Amber's routines. This detailed planning indicated her deep involvement and determination to see the plan through. On October 20th, 2018, Charlene used her credit card to rent a second car for Dean. This vehicle was essential for Dean's travel from Texas to New York, allowing him to remain mobile and avoid detection. By using her credit card, Charlene ensured that Dean could maintain a low profile and not attract attention with large cash transactions. Interviews with friends and family members further confirmed Charlene's growing frustration and anger over the custody situation. She had expressed feelings of helplessness and a desire to take drastic measures to change her circumstances. This emotional turmoil, combined with Dean's violent tendencies, created a dangerous and volatile situation. Additionally, Charlene provided Dean with detailed information about Josh and Amber's daily routines. This information allowed Dean to plan his movements precisely, knowing when and where to strike. Charlene's insights into their schedules were critical in coordinating the attack, demonstrating her deep involvement in the logistics. Further investigation revealed that Charlene also arranged for Dean's accommodations during his trip. She booked a motel room for him under an alias, helping him stay off the radar while he prepared for the crime. This meticulous planning and financial backing highlighted Charlene's determination to see the plan through. As investigators continued to piece together the events leading up to the murders, they discovered the involvement of Bron Bolar, a friend of Timothy Dean. Bolar, a police officer, played a significant role in assisting Dean with the logistics of the crime, particularly in renting a vehicle that was used during the trip. On October 18, 2018, Bron Bolar rented a car on behalf of Dean. To avoid drawing attention, Bolar used his own identification and credit card for the rental, which allowed Dean to stay off the radar. This strategic move was intended to create a buffer between Dean and any potential scrutiny from law enforcement or rental agencies. By using Bolar's credentials, they hoped to keep Dean's name out of the rental records, making it harder to trace the vehicle back to him. The rented car provided Dean with the means to travel discreetly from Texas to New York. Bolar's cooperation in this aspect of the plan demonstrated a high level of trust and complicity between the two men. However, as the investigation unfolded, Bolar's involvement came to light, and he was brought in for questioning. During the interrogation, Bolar initially denied any knowledge of the plan. Despite his claims of ignorance, Bolar's actions directly facilitated Dean's ability to carry out the murders, making him a crucial part of the plot. He was subjected to a polygraph test to assess the truthfulness of his statements. The results indicated deception, raising further suspicions about his role in the murders of Josh Niles and Amber Washburn. Faced with the polygraph results, Bolar realized the gravity of his situation. Detectives pressed him for more information, making it clear that his cooperation could significantly impact the outcome of his legal situation. Under this pressure, Bolar decided to provide a full account of his involvement and any knowledge he had about Dean's actions. Bolar revealed that he had indeed rented the car for Dean, understanding that it was part of a larger plan. While he maintained that he was unaware of the specific intent to commit murder, he admitted to suspecting that Dean was up to something serious. Bolar provided detailed information about the rental process, including dates, times, and the alias used for the transaction.
Charged with killing a Sodus couple. Timothy Dean is a former police chief in a small Texas town.
On November 1, 2018, Timothy Dean and Charlene Childers were formally charged in connection with the murders of Josh Niles and Amber Washburn. Dean faced multiple charges, including 2 counts of first-degree murder, 2 counts of second-degree murder, and criminal possession of a weapon. These charges reflected the premeditated nature of the attack and the brutality with which it was carried out. Charlene Childers was charged with conspiracy to commit murder and criminal possession of a weapon. The conspiracy charge highlighted her role in planning and facilitating the murders, while the weapon charge was linked to her involvement in providing the means for Dean to execute the crime. Both faced serious legal consequences, reflecting the gravity of their actions. As the investigation revealed more evidence, additional charges were brought against Dean and Childers. These included charges of endangering the welfare of a child, given the presence of Joshua Jr. at the crime scene. The comprehensive list of charges aimed to ensure that both suspects would face the full extent of the law for their roles in the tragic events. The trial began on February 4, 2019, drawing significant attention from the media and the community. The prosecution presented a compelling case, detailing the premeditated nature of the murders and the roles played by both Dean and Childers. Key evidence included phone records, financial transactions, and testimony from witnesses who had seen the events unfold. One of the pivotal moments in the trial was Charlene Childers' testimony. Faced with overwhelming evidence and the prospect of a lengthy prison sentence, she agreed to testify against Dean in exchange for a reduced sentence. Charlene provided a detailed account of the planning and execution of the murders, describing her involvement and the steps Dean took to carry out the crime. Her testimony was crucial in solidifying the case against Dean. The defense attempted to undermine the credibility of the witnesses and questioned the validity of the evidence presented. However, the prosecution's case remained strong, supported by the detailed investigation and the corroborative testimony of various witnesses, including Braun Bolar. On April 15, 2019, the jury found Timothy Dean guilty on all counts. He was convicted of first-degree murder, second-degree murder, conspiracy to commit murder, and criminal possession of a weapon. Dean was sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole, ensuring he would spend the rest of his life behind bars. Charlene Childers, having cooperated with the prosecution, received a reduced sentence. She was convicted of conspiracy to commit murder and criminal possession of a weapon. On May 2, 2019, she was sentenced to 28 years in prison. Her cooperation and detailed testimony were taken into account, leading to a lesser sentence compared to Dean's. Braun Bolar, who had also cooperated with the investigation, faced charges of conspiracy. His cooperation was acknowledged by the court, and on June 12, 2019, he was sentenced to 3 years in prison. Due to his assistance in the case, Bolar was granted a more lenient sentence, and he was released after serving 16 months. The convictions and sentences brought a sense of closure to the community and the families of Josh Niles and Amber Washburn. The legal proceedings highlighted the importance of thorough investigation and the relentless pursuit of justice for the victims. The brutal murders of Josh Niles and Amber Washburn left a deep void in their families. Josh's children, Gabby and Bentley, who had been at school during the attack, were placed under the care of Josh's parents. The transition was challenging for the children, who had to cope with the loss of their father and the traumatic events that unfolded. Amber's son, Joshua Jr., who had witnessed the horrific scene from the back seat of the car, required extensive emotional support. He was placed with Amber's relatives, who worked tirelessly to provide a stable and loving environment for him. The families faced ongoing challenges, grappling with grief while trying to ensure the well-being of the children. The community rallied around them, offering support and assistance in their time of need. The investigation into the murders of Josh Niles and Amber Washburn showcased the importance of meticulous police work and the significance of small details. From the swift response to the initial 911 calls to the thorough analysis of phone records and financial transactions, every step played a crucial role in unraveling the crime. The dedication and precision of the detectives ensured that justice was served, highlighting the critical impact of detailed and coordinated investigative efforts. Key elements, such as the discovery of the rented car and the cooperation of Braun Bolar, highlighted how even the smallest pieces of evidence could lead to significant breakthroughs. The case demonstrated that no detail is too insignificant when it comes to solving a crime.
Double murder in Wayne County is heading to prison now.
Charlene Childers got 28 years in prison for her part in the murder of her children's father.
Thank you for watching. If you found this video informative, please like, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments below. Your support